this streamer's prank got 2 people murdered. Well, I don't know how stupid you are to even do pranks nowadays, bro. Like, it's 2026. Grow up. Change the flipping idea. No more pranks. Anyways, credits goes to AugustTheDuck. Obviously, he gets the credit. Without further ado, let's just get straight to it. Let's see what's happening.
Guys, today we are talking about what I honestly think might be the worst thing I have ever talked about on this channel happening in like relation to some sort of online media. The title's not a joke.
So, you know, it's so bad if he comes out and says that this is the worst thing, since he did a video about clavicular shooting an alligator, killing someone with a Cybertruck, doing this and that, and you're telling me that this is much worse than what he recorded? Yeah, nah, yeah, bro, back it up, bro. You gotta go.
It's not an exaggeration. The actions of a YouTube streamer in order to create their shitty content led to 2 people getting killed. And it's just like we're at that point. If something doesn't change now, if YouTube doesn't get their shit together as a result of this, I think we're doomed. Well, guys, it happened. It finally fucking happened. Something that people have been saying will happen for years, something that people have been warning social media companies about for a decade, something that was entirely preventable, but now it's too late. The jokes about how one day we're gonna see social media pranks evolve into people just like murdering other people are no longer jokes. It's just happening now. A YouTube prankster whose channel name is RawandYT was doing a live stream where if you donated, you could tell him somebody to prank call and you could make up the story. Eventually, he gets a €5 donation and the person who donated tells him to prank call somebody that he describes as somebody's unstable nephew. The YouTuber calls him, they get into it, and the 2 agree to meet each other on a specific bridge. Obviously, the YouTuber doesn't actually go, but the guy he called does. He sees a group of 3 teenagers on the bridge, and he opens fire on them, killing 2 of them. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, this is...
So wait, so the guy who he's supposed to meet, just got mad that he didn't show up, so he shot 3 Syrian boys? Is that his fault? Like, can I consider this his fault? Like, the prankster obviously prank called him saying that come to a certain place, and the prankster didn't show up, but the guy who was on the phone call showed up, but he didn't see the prankster, so he shot out of anger? Does this make sense? Do I understand this correctly?
Is probably the worst thing I've ever heard about happening in relation to a prank. Not even just like a social media prank, a YouTube prank, just a prank in general. And like, it's one of those things that is kind of difficult to form a full opinion on, at least as it stands right now. I'm sure a lot of you are going to be of the opinion that the full blame cannot be placed on the prankster. And like, yeah, obviously I would agree. If somebody is a prank call away from trying to murder multiple people, they were probably going to be set off eventually at some point anyways. However, like I said, things are still sort of up in the air right now. The full story is not really known by anybody but the prankster and the people who watched the original stream. But what is being reported right now looks really bad, especially what's being reported by like online testimony from people who claim to have watched the stream. Also, obviously, there's the fact that it's pretty much impossible to dispute that if this prank call was not made, these kids would still be alive. Really no way around that. Does that make the prank caller as responsible as the murderer? No, absolutely not. Free will exists. He didn't have to do that because he received a prank call. But when you hear what the prank call was, again, like we've been...
Wait, how isn't that the guy responsible? Like, out of anger, you just shot 3 kids, bro. How? What the fuck type of logic are you saying, bro? Where's the law at, bro? Where's the law, bro? This guy just saying shit now.
Saying for years, pranks aren't pranks anymore. Calling this a prank call is fucking insane. So what's basically undisputed right now, what's being reported by the news, by the police, is like I mentioned, this guy received a €5 donation. The guy who donated asked him to prank call this guy that he described as unstable. And I'm assuming by the direction of the person who made the donation, because I think that was like the whole point of the stream, is that you donated and you got to choose who got prank called and also what the prank call was. The YouTuber called the guy described as unstable, whose name is FA, pretending to be like a mobster, a criminal, demanding money. Now, right now it seems to be sort of unclear if FA was actually like involved in some shit that would have made him think that this call was legitimate, but just like intuitively, it does sort of seem like that might...
Okay, listen, fair enough. All of the blame goes to this prankster because, he's unstable. Not the prankster, but the guy who got pranked on the phone, who's a gangster. He's the one who's unstable, so fair enough, he can't control. But why would you give an unstable guy a gun, gang? Like, are you stupid?
have been the case, because at least from what I can tell, guns in general, especially handguns, are highly restricted in the Netherlands, and this guy was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Seems like there's almost no way that he could have legally owned a handgun, but he had one, so him being involved in some criminal activity would really not be all that surprising. Anyways, like I said, the YouTuber calls FA, pretends to be a gangster, demands money, and then after some back and forth, after threats are exchanged, one of two things happened, and in my opinion, the distinction between these two different things is going to end up being huge. I've seen both things described by news articles. Doesn't really seem like there's a straight answer out there. Basically, one of the people on the phone call said, "Meet me at this blue bridge," and that was referring to a blue bridge near FA's grandmother's home where he was staying. Now, I'm leaning towards the idea that FA said it because I've seen more articles state that, but I've also
No. You deserve to go to jail, bro. Come to that blue bridge if you have balls. You cancer kid. You're calling an unstable guy, you cancer kid. Yeah, bro, thank God you got arrested. I hope your YouTube channel shuts down, bro. I hope it gets terminated. I hope it gets demonetized. Bro, I hope you don't even look at a camera anymore, bro. I hope your last camera is a mugshot in the prison. I'm being serious. All of this, and then you got 3 kids killed, bro. Honestly, I'ma blame it all on the YouTuber, bro. Because at the end of the day, he has some problems in the brain. He won't be able to control it.
staying. Now, I'm leaning towards the idea that FA said it because I've seen more articles state that, but I've also seen an article state that the prankster said it, and I think that's going to end up making a huge difference legally for the caller, because if FA on his own said, "Let's meet at this blue bridge," and then he went to this bridge and did what he did, it gets a lot harder to blame the prankster for what specifically happens. But if Rowand, the YouTuber, said it, I think it's a completely different story. But I think for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go with the angle that FA said it, because like I said, that's just what I'm seeing being reported more. So after this, FA goes to the bridge, the YouTuber does not, and it seems like as soon as he got to the bridge, he just chose the first people that he saw to shoot at. There was like no confrontation, there was no argument, there was no conversation. He just started shooting at these teenagers pretty much the second he saw them. Now that seems to be pretty much all.
Why? Why would you just immediately go shoot? Why? Like what the fuck did they do? They're innocent. Did absolutely nothing, and you just decided to be like, yeah, let me shoot them.
All the information that we really have right now about the prank call and the actual shooting. And honestly, I think this already looks pretty fucking bad for the prankster, but there's a lot of additional context that I think makes this look even worse. But I mean, right off the bat, like I said, I feel like calling this a prank call really downplays like the involvement that the prankster had here. If you prank called a guy and said, "Is your refrigerator running?" and he went out and killed people, okay, different story. Obviously, you aren't to blame. This is not that. This is a completely different situation. He's calling a guy that he knows is mentally unstable. He's fabricating a story that makes him fear for his life. It's like, this is not a fucking prank call. Anyways, after all this happened, the YouTuber Rowand YT immediately began to deny any involvement. I pulled this from one of the news articles and ran it through Google Translate. It's an Instagram story post from Rowand after this happened, and it reads, "I am truly shocked by the news that is going around. It is claimed that 2 people were shot dead because of a, quote, phone call from me. This is completely untrue. On New Year's Day, I was not active at all. I wasn't live, so I was never able to make that call. At that moment, I was simply..."
Listen, if you were streaming that call, you cannot deny it because it's online, it's on camera, it's everywhere in social media. So there is absolutely no point of lying. Just face the truth, bro. Tell us what happened. That's it. I don't know how you will hide it, bro. It's everywhere on social media.
Celebrating New Year's with family and friends. That I am being accused of something so serious without any evidence affects me deeply. I completely distance myself from this. I will come back to this in more detail in a video soon, but this needed to be clear already. So I'm not gonna lie, like immediately this sort of biases me against this dumbass because like, what are you thinking? You just live stream this to what I assume is like at least a few hundred people. YouTube is gonna have records of the donation. Your phone company is gonna have records of the phone call being made, and hundreds of people saw the live stream with their own 2 eyes. Did you really think that you were going to be able to hit the old live stream? What live stream method and actually have it work? Like, come on, dude. It makes it even worse when you look at this screenshot from his Discord, where it's just a bunch of Carlbot notifications informing his Discord community of his live streams that went live on New Year's Day, titled New Year's starts with prank calls and fun, and last stream of this year. So, I mean, the fact that this guy seemed to actually believe that he was just going to be able to be like, "Yeah, I didn't live stream that day, what are you talking about?" and have it work is insane to me. Obviously, this all pretty quickly fell apart, you know, surprisingly.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro, there's no point of hiding the truth, bro. You're a YouTuber, you recorded this on camera. So everyone saw it. The whole internet is gonna see it. There's no point of lying. Just admit the truth, man. Just face it.
Did not trick the prosecutors, and now Rowand is lawyered up, with his lawyers giving statements like, yesterday, partly due to uncertainty for him regarding the date, my client recorded a video as a first reaction in which he denies the prank. Upon further analysis of the information now known to my client, he must retract this denial. My client regrets the confusion that has arisen, which is a really funny way to say my client got caught in a dumbass lie. Now, as of right now, it's kind of hard to fully understand the prosecutor's position. I think now is a good time to mention that all the articles we've looked at so far are translated into English, so I'm not 100% sure on like how well everything has been carried over, but it seems like right now the YouTuber is probably going to be held liable to some degree. It's just kind of impossible to know to what degree that's going to end up being. It seems like obviously it's going to hinge entirely on what was actually said during the phone call, and you know, I can see this going multiple different ways. I'm pretty curious to see how you guys feel about all of this, because I feel like this...
But I'll tell you how I feel, alright? This is a grown man. I'm just saying, you're a grown man, bro. You're grown, yeah? And you're doing prank calls, or actually phone prank calls to a guy with cancer, or he has problems. Yo, just hang the bell, bro. Really, go to jail, bro. Like, just go.
Is one of those situations where like the morality side of it and the legality side of it are pretty far separated, because this all has so many layers to it that it's kind of hard to come to like one clean conclusion. Am I going to sit here and say that the prankster is responsible for these deaths? No, that feels pretty harsh, but I do feel like it's pretty fair to say that he got these people killed. Which like sort of sounds like you're saying the same thing, but I feel like the semantics of it make a difference. Obviously the guy who killed the people is responsible for the deaths, but would he have done this if he did not receive this prank call? You'd have to think no, right? At least not at this time in this manner. I'd say that the YouTuber and the guy who made the donation are equally responsible. I'd even go as far to say that the person who donated is more responsible than Rowand is, because clearly he knew shit about this guy that made him want to do this. And again, like, free will exists. This guy did not have to do this because he received a prank call, but at the end of the day, you have to ask the question, what was the intended outcome? What was the intended outcome of...
Well, at the end of the day, I blame him and the shooter, because he didn't have the right to just kill two kids for no reason, or two teenagers. But also I do blame the prankster, the YouTuber, because you're actually like, you're prank calling someone with brain issues. You see what I'm talking about? So both of you deserve to be jailed. Both of you, not just one, both.
Calling a guy that you knew was mentally unstable and pretending to be a gangster, threatening his life, saying you owe me money. Like, seriously, what was the joke? What was the prank? What did you want to see happen? You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's sort of similar to the whole swatting thing, obviously to a lesser degree, because the outcome of something like this is a lot less predictable than swatting somebody, but I think they're under like the same sort of umbrella. Again, it's not to the same degree as calling a SWAT team to somebody's house, but you had to have known that something bad could have happened here. Like, you had to have known that you were taking a risk by making a call like this. There's just no way around that. Especially in relation to the guy who donated in the first place, it would seem real unlikely that he did not know something about this guy's situation. Otherwise, like, why would you have such a specific request? I don't know. To me, it just seems like this is the kind of thing where we can acknowledge that a person did a terrible thing, a thing that in my opinion should bar them from being able to be around other people for the rest of their life, and nobody made this guy do what he did. And he should be punished for that independent of everything else. At the same time, however, I think we can also acknowledge that this insane, quote, prank call, where this guy targeted a mentally unstable person in a very specific way, had a massive influence on two people, almost a third, losing their lives.
True. Now, I agree with AugustTheDuck. What he just said there is obviously true, and I agree.
And that should not be overlooked. This is not a prank call. This is not a joke. This is not content. Nobody in their right mind would label calling somebody and saying something like this a prank, much less a person that they knew was mentally unstable. So, I mean, this is an insanely nuanced situation. I don't know how this is going to go down legally. I know what I think about it morally. Curious to see what you guys have to say. Well, guys, what are your thoughts? Like I said,
my thoughts here, yeah, okay, is that I'm telling you, I think both are in the wrong. Both. Him and the killer. Both of them deserves to be charged. Obviously, the prankster, he doesn't need to go jailed, but he like deserves like he deserves something at the end of the day. Or he deserves it. But the other guy who shot does deserve like a death penalty, I'm just saying. Because RIP to these two people, man. RIP to these two teenagers, man.
I think you have to look at the morality and the legality of this situation through two completely different lenses. Like, obviously, I think both the caller and the donator should be held legally responsible, but I think that, like, morally, they are far more responsible than they could, like, realistically be held legally responsible, if that makes sense. I'll say it again, like, what was the intended outcome of doing this? What was the joke gonna be? What was the payoff gonna be? How was this gonna end up being labeled as a prank? Like, oh, we make a guy with schizophrenia think he's about to die? The classic practical joke. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? I think the guy's been banned off YouTube, which is a good start, but I really think that this should serve as a catalyst for a rework of the way that YouTube looks at prank content as a whole. It's run its course. It has completely devolved into bullshit like this, and I feel like it has been for like a decade. It serves no real purpose on YouTube. I think it's time for a change. Will there be one? I doubt it. See ya.
I hope there is. And yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And really RIP to these teenagers, man. They didn't deserve death. Anyways, hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, turn those post notifications so you don't miss another upload. Without further ado, hope you guys have a blessing and a fantastic day. See you guys on the next one. Peace.